Hi everyone, welcome back to Painting with Bennett. I have a really special video for you today, and I think it'll really help you on your painting journey. See this mini? It's great, it's a beautiful sculpt full of character, but there's just one problem. You guessed it, it's painted. Luckily, in today's video, I'll be teaching you exactly how to paint your minis to make them look crisp, clean, uniform, and fresh out of the box. Now, the most critical part of this whole process is in selecting the proper color. Now, I've tested this extensively so that you don't have to. When you multiply the number of different paint ranges I've tested by 100, I've tested gray tones from over 100 different paint ranges, and there was one color that put all the other colors to shame. You guessed it, it's Pro Acryl's Neutral Gray. It's all in the name. This is the perfect neutral tone. And for all you Games Workshop fans out there, it's a very close match to that sweet gray plastic color. We have our color selected, so next put it on your palette, and remember to thin it down with a bit of water. We don't want to obscure any detail when we're unpainting the model. Now I'll just take a nice big brush, load it with paint, and start applying a nice smooth coat all over. Try not to go back and touch your brush to areas where the paint is starting to dry. We really wouldn't want to create any texture buildup that would keep the surface from looking like a nice, factory fresh plastic. There's another huge perk to unpainting in this style that frankly I'm shocked that no one in the community ever really talks about. This method, this one simple hack, makes painting the faces and eyes of your miniatures so easy. Just load some of your gray color up on your brush and apply it over the entire face, making sure to get it in those eye sockets as well. And bam, job done, it couldn't have been easier. Now, moving on to the rest of the skin, you're going to want to apply the same gray color all over it. You'll want to make sure to keep the paint thinned down a little bit, but luckily we don't need to worry too much if we're a bit messy and we get this paint on the surrounding surfaces. You'll see that this gray still looks a little too light, but don't worry, we'll fix that later. Once that's done, take your gray color and apply it to any glowing elements, in this case to the ghostly green skull effect. On spots like these, you might need to apply 2 thin coats of gray for full coverage. Then, just make sure to paint any other parts of the mini that you haven't done yet. Nice and simple. Now you might notice that after the first coat, a few of those pesky colors are still showing through. We'll really elevate the look of this mini by applying a gray wash. Just take some Pro Acryl Neutral Gray, thin it down with plenty of water, and apply it all over the model. Optionally, when that's dry, take your neutral gray color and apply 1 or 2 careful highlight layers to really accent that neutral gray color. And I just know that some of you must be thinking, "Hey Bennett, why aren't you using an airbrush? This seems like the perfect time to use it." And unfortunately, you just couldn't be more wrong. Unpainting is all about the joy of the process, and frankly, anyone who claims to be a miniature unpainter but uses an airbrush is just cheating. There are certain tools, like airbrushes and paint strippers, that are categorically considered cheating and are actually banned by the World Miniature Unpainting Organization. Just imagine, if you used an airbrush and then took your model to a Golden Undemon competition, frankly, they'd laugh you out of the room, and I probably would too. Now back to the model, we're almost done, but don't forget to work on the base as well. Some people might prefer a gray base, but I prefer to replicate the black plastic color you typically see on most bases. I found that Chimera's Carbon Black, the color that's purely coincidentally already on my desk, is a great color match for this. Now, there's a bit of texture paste on this base, but I like to actually leave details like this here, as I feel like it really nicely shows that this mini once was painted, and now has been carefully and meticulously unpainted. And with the base done, we're almost at the finish line. The last step is to replicate that nice, satin sheen that you see on most Games Workshop plastic sprues, and I do this by applying a thin coat of satin varnish. And look at that! What a beautiful result. I'm quite happy with this unpaint job, and I think that this will look great either on the battlefield or on the display shelf. And look at how closely this model matches the fresh Games Workshop plastic. Just wow, what a result. This tutorial is meant to be beginner friendly, so I didn't include anything related to adding mold lines or gluing on plastic injection gates, but I'll be sure to cover that in a future video. And I won't even discuss unpainting miniatures in the unmetal style, that is a whole other can of worms and is only for advanced unpainters. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned a little something or other, and happy unpainting. But for real, thanks for watching this silly video, and I'll see you in the next one.